Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again to another episode of Lunch Guide. I am Chef Andy, your host. And on this Christmas season, we are definitely bringing some beautiful dishes onto the table. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a very beautiful quiche. We're going to be working with some simple ingredients which I'm just about to introduce. I'll be working with a bit of salt and a bit of unsalted butter. I'm also going to be using some beautiful farmer sausages, a bit of sweet corn, some fresh coriander, a bit of olive oil, a bit of black pepper, and a bit of turmeric. I also have some beautiful young cheddar cheese, some eggs there, a bit of parsley and a bit of paprika powder. Also, I'll also be using some fresh ginger, some red and white onions, and a bit of garlic. So without further ado, I'm going to give you this chance to grab your pens and papers if you're taking notes. If you're going to be refreshing and just need a short break, do take it now, because when we come back, you definitely don't want to miss what we're going to be doing. So see you after a short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are just catching up, if you're just joining us, we are just about to start a very simple, beautiful dish that really goes well with this season. We're going to be playing with a bit of some farmer sausages. We're going to be going with a bit of some eggs. And basically, this is a very good treat, especially for those beautiful Saturday mornings or those beautiful Saturday brunches, especially when you're too lazy to wake up and actually start cooking. This is something that you can make in a short span of time. Remember, you're also going to be throwing this in the oven, so definitely something that takes a bit of time to prepare, but is a very quick and easy option for a beautiful morning or a brunch. So without further ado, we're just going to start off with some of our onions here and some garlic. So I'm just going to first quickly chop those up. So very simple. I'm just going to finely slice my white onions. So definitely one of my most treasured recipes, especially around Christmas season. This is definitely one of those recipes that really bring a good laugh to the table. If you're definitely looking at having some fun in the kitchen with the kids, this is among the most beautiful dishes you can actually share the recipes with your kids with. And it is actually, as I said, one of the most simplest and straightforward options you can have out there. Right, so we've got a nice beautiful pan going. I'm just going to turn up the heat a little bit, and I'm going to be adding about a 3/4 tablespoon of some unsalted butter. I'm particularly using butter to fry my onions and the filling, because butter just gives a very beautiful velvety finish, and it does also enrich it with a bit of flavor. So into the pan, we're gonna go in with some white onions. So just quick chop as well for the red onions. Just going to discard those. Just a bit more. So this is about 2 tablespoons white onion, 1 tablespoon red onion, just roughly finely chopped. And we're just going to give our pan a bit of a toss. While that continues, we're also going to be adding in there a bit of some garlic. So we're just going to break our clove quickly. Simple technique of chopping your garlic or peeling your garlic. If I haven't shown it to you already, if you're seeing it for the first time, quickest and easiest way to peel your garlic, just smash use your fingers to just take the covers off, and that's done. So for the garlic as well, quick rough chop. Right, simple as that. And in with our garlic. And last but not least, a bit of this beautiful fresh ginger. So I'm just going to just slice off the sides quickly. This is just to get the skin off. And we're quickly just going to grate this and add it into our pan. I'm just going to be using some nice big chunks. I'm not going to go too fine with that. Right, so in with your garlic. Give that a bit of a toss. Simple, simple, simple basic techniques. To that we're going to be adding our dried parsley. I'm also going to be incorporating about a teaspoon of paprika powder. And now basically, as you can see, the butter does cook down, so we're also going to be adding about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So remember, the butter I was just using to really incorporate the flavors in there. Right, so just a quick frying technique there. And we're just going to set that aside, and I'm just going to grab another pan. So in this particular pan, we're going to be doing our sausage, which I'm about to show you. And particularly for the sausage, I like to peel it particularly because the skin does look a little off when you actually spot it on the plate. So it is just a common technique to actually just, if you're going to be using some sausage meat, just easily peel off the skins. And the skins you can actually discard. Remember, we are going to be mincing the sausage in the pan while we fry it, so you don't really have to have the sausage in a complete shape as it is right now. So I'm just going to finish off peeling the rest of our sausages. So I'm using Boerewors sausages, originally South African recipe, but there are very many sausages out there. There's chicken, there's beef, there's pork sausages. Do try out the one that really works for you and what you can actually be able to afford. It shouldn't really make much difference to this recipe. So I'm just going to align those, and I'm just going to quickly break them up like that into chunks. Right, and in the pan we're gonna add a bit of olive oil. All we are going to do now is add our beautiful sausage pieces. So I'm just going to separate those onto the pan. So just be sure to scatter them around. Remember, you also want them to really get an even browning. So just spread them around your pan like I'm doing now. Now all you want to do is give your pan a bit of a shake and just toss. So remember, we're just browning the sausage. We're just trying to give it a bit of color as well. So I normally start them off at high heat and then reduce the heat to now really get them to cook through. So always start this process at a bit of a high heat. Should be actually be able to give you a bit of color, and then just drop the temperature as you go along. Now we're just going to start doing our quiche mixture, and for that we are going to be using some eggs. So I'm just going to quickly crack those into this big beautiful bowl. So I'm going with free range eggs. I'm going to be going with 5 medium-sized eggs. If you're going to be working with large eggs, use about 3 to 4 pieces. If it's a smaller egg, about 5 to 6 pieces. That should actually be able to give you the same amount quantity of egg to your mixture. So we're just going to quickly keep tossing those. Remember, you want to give this a bit of time to cook, give it a bit of color. And while you do that, you definitely are going to get enough time to get your mixture ready. So into the eggs, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of turmeric. Remember, this gives it a nice fragrance, gives it a nice aroma, and last but not least, really enriches the color. Right, to that I'm also going to add about 2 pinches of salt. And then we're also going to be grating in there a bit of some fresh coriander leaves. So I'm just going to, first of all, take off the stalks. So we're not going to be using the stalks for this particular recipe. So nice beautiful color coming from the sausages there. They're really now starting to brown. And now for this particular stage, I'm just going to drop the temperature, give them a bit of time to cook through. In the meantime, I'm just going to take some of our shoots off from the coriander stalks. So we're just going to go with a small handful. So very, very easily, just squeeze them together with your fingertips and just let your knife run through that. So just a nice, quick, fine chop. And this we are going to add into our eggs. And last but not least, our beautiful cheddar cheese. So we're just going to grate this into the bowl. So I'm using about 300 grams. And I'm just going to grate it all in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to grate about 2/3 of the cheese, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do with the rest. So our sausages are nicely browned, our onion mixture is ready. So now all we are going to do is just incorporate everything into this bowl. So I'm going to start off by just whipping that quickly. Now we're also going to season with a bit of some black peppercorns. I'm just going to quickly crush those. And then just a touch of paprika. Also going to add just a bit of olive oil also for flavor. Right, so your sausages should be now cooked, so that should take you about 5 to 6 minutes. So we're just going to turn off the heat. And then now to the bowl, I'm also going to add about a cupful of sweet corn. And we're also going to add the beautiful onion and garlic mixture we had fried up earlier. So everything just goes into your bowl. And all you're going to do is give that a nice, quick mixture like that. Right, simple as that, very, very easy. So basically what we're going to do is give that a few minutes to just cool off, and when that continues, I'm just going to set my oven now for about 200 degrees, and I'm just going to give that a few minutes to actually just reheat. And we are just going to take a short commercial break. When we do come back, you're going to see what this is going to look like when it comes out of the oven. So all we are going to do is give that a bit of time to cool off. We are actually going to mix it into the bowl here, and we're going to be baking that for a bit of time, about 15 minutes, just to get the eggs to cook. But I will not skip that step. When we do come back, I will show you how to set your bowl. I will show you some key pointers on how to actually prepare your baking dish before all this goes into the oven, so that you can actually be able to do it really well at home and achieve the same consistent, beautiful product we'll be doing today. So please do not touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just about to finish off the last stage of assembling the frittata. But first of all, I will show you some key pointers before you actually put your frittata to the cooking stage. And now here I have a beautiful glass bowl which we're going to be using to make our quiche. And all I'm going to do is rub around using a serviette. I'm just going to rub around a bit of olive oil. So this is going to be doing two things. First of all, it's going to stop the egg from sticking on the sides. And second of all, it will also give it a bit of flavor. Now on the flavor side, I always do it myself like this. Sprinkle a bit of black pepper in there. And then just go in with the frittata mixture. But before we do that, remember we had fried up some sausages earlier. So these are now cooled off, so we can actually be able to add this to our mixture. I'm just going to give that a quick mix. Just a nice quick light mix. And this can now go into our bowl. So remember, I always insist, if you are going to be throwing anything into your oven, very, very important that you make sure that the container you decide to use to put anything in there is oven proof. You don't want it breaking in there, because what happens is you will lose everything that you put all your effort into. And once the glass is broken in there, you might actually not be able to have your dish, and you might actually not be able to bake with it again. So very, very important, before you throw anything in your oven, do consult, ask a friend, or actually just pass by an outlet that sells the same product or one that sold it to you. They should be able to give you enough advice. So I'm just going to use my whisk to just press that down. So I'm just trying to get the sausages to really go under the surface of the eggs. So easy as that. And now I did have some cheddar that we saved up earlier, which I'm about to show you what I'll do with. So I like to just cut this into some nice little cubes like that. Remember, this is just for enhancing the presentation, and it actually feels good when you bite into a nice melted piece of cheese in your quiche or your frittata. Right, so simple as that. And all I'm going to do is just add those over the surface of the quiche. So I'm just going to spread those around. So easy as that. So this will work two ways. You're actually going to see them when they come out. It does also enhance the presentation. It also gives it a nice, beautiful surprise, especially when you bite into it and you don't actually expect to have some chunks of cheese in there. So very, very important technique in finishing off your quiche, and a very, very useful one. And now last but not least, a bit of some coriander again. So with this, I'm not going to chop. All I'm going to do is just tear it up right over the quiche like that, and just spread it around. And now this is now ready to go into the oven. So the oven is set at between 180 to 190 degrees. I'm going to be baking this for about 5 to 6 minutes, or just until the egg is cooked and the top starts to brown. And then we're just going to take it out, and we're going to go straight into serving. So always bake it right in the center of the oven. Remember, once you put it right in the center, you do actually allow it to cook evenly, because you get an even distribution of temperature. And last but not least, I'm just going to set my timer for about 12 minutes. And by the time we come back from our break, this actually should be ready to serve. And you're actually going to be able to see what it looks like. So see you after a very, very, very short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are just catching up, we have been making a very beautiful seasonal dish today. We've been bringing back a few beautiful ingredients that are very much something we all look forward to around the Christmas season of the year. We've been working with some sausage, some sweet corn, some eggs, and we basically are just now about ready to see the final product. So I'm just going to take this out. So this has now been going for about 12-13 minutes, and it's now just nicely browned and it's good to serve. Right, so simple quiche as I mentioned earlier. Now I'm just going to grab a plate. Now all we're going to do is, I'm just going to go through first of all the checkpoints as I said. Always important to just run your spoon right around the edges there just to help it loosen once it cools off. So I just like to just press it and just go right around. So just make a nice complete round of your quiche just before you take your chance to slice it. And I'm easily just going to grab one of my knives here, and I'm just going to go through. So as you can see, very simple. The knife actually just goes through on its own. Very stressful dish, as I said. Right, so simple as that. Now I'm just going to lift off that slice, and I can now be able to show you what the inside and the inside of the quiche looks like once it's done. So always also take a bit of precaution when getting that slice out. Please always make sure, not to force it. Just always continue moving your spoon around or whatever you're going to use to take it out of the bowl, and it should actually just be able to loosen itself from the edges and from the center. So we're just going to take just one slice off just for you all to be able to see what it looks like. As you can see, nice, beautiful, moist. You can actually be able to see how the sausage has set in on the inside, how the sweet corn just layers itself very well on the inside like that. And all I will do to that, serve it with a bit of bread, or a bit of toast, a bit of butter, and this should be good to go. So ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure showing you how to make this beautiful seasonal treat. And I do hope some of you, most of you, are actually going to go out and try this on this particular festive season of Christmas. So without further ado, I'm gonna bid you farewell. I always remind you and recommend you to follow our Facebook page. Check out our videos as well. Leave your comments, your questions, or any inquiries you might have, and we will definitely look forward to getting back to you. My name is Chef Andy, and I have been your host for today. So until the next episode, Merry Christmas to you all.